Hey guys, how you doing? It's Lon from the ECOM zone, and in this video I'm going to quickly run through how I'm scaling to $2,000 a day in Christmas. But first let me get myself a drink. So yeah, welcome to the new condo. Fat ice cube. What am I drinking today? Honey lemon? Yeah, such a good drink. If you're ever in Asia, you go to 7-Eleven, get this drink. Honey lemon, Ichitan green tea. And also, if you like Yakult, this is another version of Yakult that's really good as well. So you could get that in 7-Eleven too. Yeah, those are the two best drinks in 7-Eleven, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the kitchen. And then straight into the living room. And that's our setup right here. So my fiance's side and then my side. And we got this crazy laptop stand from Shopee, which is basically like AliExpress, but for Asia, I think. And it is really sturdy. Like, I don't even need to lift it. I could just turn it like that. Look how crazy that is. Proper sturdy. And my laptop is not light either. Very big laptop. And so yeah, this is a good find. And then let me show you guys the view. So this is the view. Actually insane. So this condo came with the majority of furniture, like the chairs, table, sofa, etc., TV as well. But then what we bought was this lamp. So we do have Xiaomi security camera. And what's cool is like an Apple ecosystem. So you have the Xiaomi app, and then you got the security cameras, and then you also have the purifier. So that was about £30, the camera. This is about £120. And you can see it's like just purifying the air in here because there's a lot of pollution in Thailand. So even though we're quite higher up in our apartment, we still need a purifier. And then we also bought ourselves a switch because, you know, life ain't just about working all day. Sometimes playing games with your loved ones. So yeah, got a switch there. And yeah, so that's the apartment tour done. Now let's actually get into business. So let's talk about dropshipping. So we are in December now, and there's only a few days left to run ads before I start scaling back on ads. And if you don't know why, then watch my previous video. But essentially, most customers online are buying Christmas gifts. And to be fair, if you're shipping from China, most of your parcels won't arrive in time for Christmas after like the 8th of December. So right now it's the 5th of December, and yeah, by the time this video comes out, you should probably start cutting back on ads. Right now, we make about $2,000 a day. We're only on the 5th right now at about 5 a.m. and it's actually a pretty decent day. So our average order value is around $60, but it's actually not that great compared to previous years. Sometimes our average order value could be $100, and it really depends on what products AliExpress pushes out, especially for our niche. So we are constricted to our niche and what our suppliers make. In my opinion, our suppliers haven't been making the best products recently, and that's why our average order value is slightly lower. They're making more cheaper products, and I think it's just because of the economy. They just don't have money to make the more expensive items. US is still our top performing country, which is weird. Even though we bumped up prices because of US tariffs, US still buys a lot from us. So it's good to see that they're still buying, but honestly, if the tariffs can go, I would love it to go, because then we could have more customers, we could reduce prices back down for our US customers, and we could get back to business and making more money. And the first thing I want to point out when scaling to these numbers is the ad account. Because a lot of people don't run ads properly, especially after the Andromeda update. If you're running like one ad in a campaign, one, you're lazy, two, you're not giving Facebook enough creatives to work with, and it's just like you're competing against major brands out here, right? Like, look at Shop Fabulous, right? If you're in a jewelry niche, look at this brand on Facebook ad library. They have 1,100 active ads right now. And this is who you're competing against if you're running a jewelry brand. 1,000 ads active, okay guys? Video ad, image ad, image ad, video ad, video ad, video ad, video ad, video ad, image, 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 video, grid image, Twitter tweet style image, grid image again, video, more videos. So you can see they have a bunch of videos and images. It is insane how many ads they have. And this is who you're competing against if you're running a jewelry store. So if you have one singular ad running, or like maybe 5 ads, This is who you're competing against. And this is why it's so important that you need to be creating more creatives, and it's about the process. If you do not have a process in place where every week you're doing the same task to create more creatives, then you're doing it wrong. Because what you need to do is figure out a process where you're constantly pumping out creatives and uploading them onto Facebook ads. And I'll suggest you run new ads every 3 to 5 days. Just push it into the same ad sets, especially if they're not performing. Another thing I actually want to point out is AOV. So a lot of you guys are running stores where you're selling products for like $30. Like honestly guys, you can make some money, but you'll struggle to become profitable at scale because your AOV is just too low. Now if your AOV was $30 and you're buying the product for $1 and you're making $29 profit, that's great. But even then it's still quite minimal. You do really want to push it to like the $80 mark, even the $100 mark, because then it'll cover your ad costs and your cost of goods, your fees, your taxes, chargebacks, refunds, your salary, etc. And so if you're selling cheap products, I suggest you find more expensive products or create bundles so that when your customers land on your product page, all they do is just add the bundle to their cart and then they buy. So let's actually talk about our ads. So in my ad account, I have 6 campaigns, 5 top of the funnel campaigns, which is to cold audience, and 1 bottom of the funnel campaign. So I split my campaigns up by subcategory. So let's just say you're running necklaces, bracelets and rings. I would suggest you split them up into 3 different campaigns. So the first campaign will be necklace, second will be earrings, the third one will be rings, right? And each campaign you're gonna have 2 ad sets, and it's not restricted to 2, you could just start with 2. And you start with broad vs interest. So let me just go into like this campaign here. And also I just wanna point out to you guys that if you can see here, my amount spent is 3,000, but my purchase conversion value is only 1.6k. If you go over to my Shopify, look how much sales I've made. So is that compared to this figure? It's completely off. So yeah, this figure is only like 20% of my sales, which is actually terrible. I'm not too sure why it's so low recently. And I don't know. I actually don't know. I think in the new year when I restart my Facebook ads, I'm gonna try a new ad account and maybe a new pixel. I'm just not too sure. But essentially, these days is all skewed. Like this ROAS, all these purchases, they're all skewed. So don't really think too much about them. And so in this campaign, you can see that I have 2 ad sets on, but you can see there's many other ad sets that I've run before. A lot of USA ads, but then slowly converted it back to multiple countries. So at the beginning, I tried to isolate countries per campaign, but it just wasn't worth it. And I found if I combined the countries, it worked better. And I think it's because throughout the day, when your ads are pushed out to multiple countries, when Facebook knows a country is sleeping, like in the US, they sleep like 12 a.m. to 7 a.m., right? They probably won't be pushing ads out to the US as much as they would to the UK or Australia, because they know people in UK and Australia are awake. And that's why they could switch over to those countries and advertise to those countries. But if you isolate campaigns by countries, then they can only ever push your ads out to the US, let's just say. And so when the US are asleep, your ads are still running and it's still spending. And that's why I like to combine my countries. Now again, do not look at the ROAS. This ROAS is terrible. If your ROAS was 0.8 in the long run and it's tracking like 90% of your sales, then you should probably switch off that campaign and figure out what's going wrong. But on my side, we can see that the CPC is really cheap, 14 cents or 14p. The CTR is really high, 4.6. And so I have 2 ad sets running. And this naming convention 2505 means I launched that in May 2025. This 09 one here, it means I'm launched it in September 2025. And then T10 means I'm advertising that ad set to 10 countries. And then like this one's here, T5, so I'm advertising that to the top 5 countries. And so it does vary. It really depends on my analytics on Shopify. So on Shopify, if I see that the top 5 countries are getting more sales over the top 10, then I'll just switch over to top 5. And then within the ad set, you can push all your ads in there. So over here, you can see that I have 2, 4, 6, 7 ads running within this one ad set. And most of the sales are coming from these 3 ads here. And I did launch these 4 ads very new. And yes, they haven't got any sales, but they have got add to carts and checkouts. Now, the reason why I haven't switched them off is because Facebook only tracks like 20% of my sales, and that's why I can't really make an accurate decision. And that's why I prefer actually going through your ad accounts and helping you guys out, because most of the time your ad accounts tracks like 80% of your sales, so it makes it very easy for me to optimize your ad accounts. But for me, it's very difficult. I'm kind of just like in the dark, winging it almost. And then what you want to do is wait 3 days. So let's just say you launch ads today, you're going to wait 3 days. And on that third day, you're going to check your ad account and you're going to check for cost per clicks. So if your cost per clicks is around like £1 or £2, that is ridiculously high. If you think about it, guys, let's just say your CPC was £1. That would mean for 100 visitors, right? That would be £100. So if it was like £2.20, let's just say your CPC, you're going to be paying £220 for 100 visitors. And this is why it's so expensive. So let's just say your ad cost was £220 for 100 visitors. How many sales do you need to make out of the 100 visitors to cover this ad cost, right? It's ridiculous. And if your AOV was only like $30 and your profit is like, I don't know, let's just say for the sake of this video, it's 15, right? So it's just half, $15 or £15. How many sales do you need to make to cover this? Not even 10 sales will be able to cover that, because that'll be 150 profit, right? You need a few more, maybe like even 15 sales. So 15 sales from 100 visitors is insane, guys. That's a 15% conversion rate, and that's almost impossible to get. And this is why it's so important to either increase your AOV or decrease your CPC, or you increase your conversion rate. But when your conversion rate target is 15%, that's almost impossible to increase or improve. And that's why it won't be your CVR, which is your conversion rate. It's either lowering your CPCs, so you need to lower your CPCs, or you increase your AOV. And that is how you scale profitably. If your AOV is $30 and let's say your CPR or your CPA, cost per acquisition or cost per result, is $11, right? And your profit margin is 15. That means your difference is only $4. So if your CPR, your cost per result on Facebook ads, starts going up to $15, that would mean your $4 profit is gone, because at scale, Facebook CPR will go up. The reason why it goes up is because it finds it more difficult to find more audience for your products. And so what you really want to do is increase your AOV. So AOV equals $80, let's just say, right? $80. And then let's just say your CPR was 25, right? Or 20. Your profit over here is about, let's just say, $45. So you got $20 to $45 room to grow. And so that's why it's so important to sort out your AOV too. It's not just about optimizing your ads. So here, what I've done now is I switched off any underperforming ads. So you can see here, they've been spending money, and like this one here, £10 with one add to cart, I'm switching that off, right? And so look at this ad set, so many ads in here. And so you don't actually need to keep creating new ad sets. You just need to add more ads into the existing ad sets. So maybe in a week's time or 5 days time or 4 days time, I check back. If these still didn't get any sales and my ROI on Shopify and Facebook ads isn't that great, then I actually start switching off ads. I don't actually base it on ads alone, but for you, you should base it on ads alone if it's tracking well. So let's just say it tracks like 80% of your sales then, and this says 0 sales, then you'll switch it off because it's already spent so much money. Now, what does so much money mean? So let's just say your AOV was $80, right? And it spent £30 here. Well, it's actually only spent about 50% of your AOV. And so you can actually give it more time to optimize if you like. Sometimes I do recommend 1x at least. So this would have to spend at least £80 or $80 before you consider switching it off. And then hopefully over time it optimizes and it gets better. So like this one here is super great. So 5 purchase with 2.55 ROAS. And again, this is incorrect because you can see here the purchase conversion value is only £50, which is like nothing because my AOV is $60. So if I had 5 sales times $60, then this purchase conversion value should be $300, right? Essentially, that's how you test and scale. Now, in some cases, people put ads in a campaign. So let's just say your campaign's here and you have 2 ad sets, ad set 1 and then ad set 2. And then some people only have 1 ad inside and then another one with 1 ad inside. And if it doesn't work, they'll switch off everything. Then they'll add a new ad set. So ad set 3 and then they'll have 1 ad. This is a terrible campaign structure in my opinion. For me, it doesn't really work that well. I prefer literally just adding loads of ads into one. So this is ad 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? Let's just say you put these ads in this ad set, but only ad 1 is getting all the spend, which does happen. So this one's getting all the spend, and then these ones getting no spend, right? So what you can see now is this ad is actually performing better than the others, and what you want to do is double down on this ad copy, and then also double down on the ad creative. So what you're going to do is go over to AI or ChatGPT or whatever it is that you're using, or Claude, and you want to generate more ads based off this ad 1. And then you're going to put them back into this ad set. And so you'll have ad 6, ad 7, ad 8, ad 9, and then ad 10. And you want to keep adding more ads into this ad set. And let's just say these ads didn't get spent too. Well, it's just not an ad that's good enough to beat this first ad. And so you just have to keep testing. Now, if you strongly feel like ad 7 will work for you, or 6 and 8 or 9 and 10, what you can do is create a new ad set in the same campaign. So you have the same campaign and you go ad set 4, and then you put these ads into ad set 4. And that way you're going to push spend into this new ad set with minimum budget set at 10%. Now, how do you set a minimum budget? You go to the ad set level, you scroll down slightly, and then you add a minimum budget spend of 10%. And that way you're pushing spend into the ad set. And this is if your campaign is a CBO campaign. If your campaign is an ABO campaign, where you're setting budgets at ad set level, then you don't need to consider minimum budget. Minimum budget is only for CBO. ABO, you do not need a minimum budget. You could just add as many ad sets in as you want, and you're just setting the budget at the ad set level, right? So that's that in terms of adding new ads in, and you should be doing this every 3 to 5 days, guys. So if you don't have a process in place right now where you're adding new ads into your ads manager every 3 to 5 days, then you're doing something wrong and you need to put in more work. I don't know how much more I can emphasize this, guys, but look, like, this is a massive brand out here. 1,100 ads. And if you compare it to your side, you probably only have like 5 ads running. And this is why it's so important that you keep adding new ads. Whether that's images, videos, carousels, flex ads, I don't care. Just keep creating new ads. And when it comes to ad copy as well, a lot of people don't know what to write. Look, guys, there's Facebook ad library. Just search for a niche. Like if you're in the apparel niche, right? So let's just say jumpers. Just search for jumper, search this exact phrase, and then see what ads people are running for jumpers, right? So this one here, Karma East, they have a lot of ads on dresses. So what I'll do is actually go to their brand. Let's see their brand. So Karma East, they got 190 results, which is actually quite decent as well. And look how many video ads they're running and then image ads, right? And look at all these ad copies they're testing, all these different structures. So this is like a review type ad, and then fat paragraph, and then a few bullet points. So this one, fat paragraph, few bullet points, and 2 reviews. So do you see where I'm coming from, guys? You want to test multiple structures out. Look how many different ad copies they're testing out here, right? Long form with multiple reviews. And you just never know. People might be reading these, but if you don't test it out, how does Facebook showcase these like possibilities, right? And so this is why it's so important that you keep testing different creatives and different ad copies. And it's also good to actually watch these videos and see how they're creating those clips and how long the clips are. Are they using audio tracks? Is there voiceover, etc.? So that's that. And when it comes to scaling your ads, well, first you actually need to become profitable, right? So let's just say after 2 weeks you become profitable, you're on day 14 now. What you want to do is every day in the morning at 9 a.m. or whenever you wake up, 7 a.m., whatever it may be, you want to check your ads. And if you're profitable, then you want to increase your budgets, right? So 9 a.m., this is 12 p.m., and this is 12 a.m. So 9 a.m., you're profitable. So what you're going to do is you increase your budgets at 9 a.m. to whatever it may be. It depends on your ROAS and your break-even ROAS. But if you're very, very profitable, then you could increase your budgets by 50% or even more if you wanted. Then you wait a few hours, so 12 p.m., 3 hours. If you're still profitable, right? Profitable here, what you're going to do is you're increasing the budget again. Now, let's just say you lost a bit of profit or ROI, then you can slow down the increase. Maybe it's only 25%. Then you wait another few hours. So let's just say that's 6 p.m. You don't have to wait 3 hours. You could wait 5 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours, doesn't matter. And then let's just say you're still profitable and you're actually even more profitable because people are awake between this period, right? So you could increase this by 50% again. And so your budget at the start of the day, let's just say it was 100, then it'll be 150. Then 25% of this, I'm not too sure, but it's like maybe just 225 or whatever. And then another 50%, so that's like 350. And then at 12 a.m., what you actually want to do is decrease this budget back down to near 100. Maybe you decrease it back down to 150. But the reason why I wouldn't start off the next day at 350 is because you never know if the audience for the next day is going to be good and profitable for you. So the thing with Andromeda Update is very rocky. Some days you'll have really green days, right? And then some days it's just terrible. So let's just say this is day 15 now, right? This is 9 a.m., this is 12 p.m. again, and this is 12 a.m., right? You wake up and it's miserable. You literally just lost money. So you wake up, you lost money. What you're gonna do now, remember you've cut back your budget to 150. What you're gonna do now is reduce your spend back down to 120 maybe. And then wait a bit. And let's just say this is orange. So you're back to break even now. What you're gonna do is just leave your budgets. So 0% increase or 0% decrease. Then you wait 3 p.m., maybe 4 p.m., and you're actually profitable again. And it depends on how profitable you are. If you're really profitable, then you can increase the budgets again by 25%. It really depends on confidence level, skill level, how profitable you are with ROI, your conversion rates. CPCs doesn't really matter too often. It just depends on ROI and CVR. And then let's just say 9 p.m., you're still profitable and you could increase a bit more at the end of the day. Even if you increase this by 300% at the end of the day, it won't actually spend all that money. So let's just say it was 150, then it went down to 120, then it increased back to 150, and let's just say you increased it to $450, right? Which I don't suggest you do, but if you did, it won't actually spend the extra $300 from 150 to 450 because there's just not enough time to spend it. And so you can push it to 450, but it may only spend up to 200. And so at 12 a.m. again, you do want to drop this back down to 150 because it was a rocky day. Now let's just say the next day is very, very profitable and you're just green all day, then you could just increase this budget to like maybe 200. And so over time, you are increasing your starting budget. And that's how I scale. And yes, you can also scale with multiple campaigns like I have. You just need to duplicate the campaign. Maybe it's new avatars that you're targeting. Maybe it's a new subcategory. Maybe it's new ad copy. I don't know what it is. You can create new campaigns. And what you want to do is analyze your campaigns maybe every 6 hours. You don't want to touch it too often though. So for me, if I'm going to switch off ads today, I'm not going to switch off ads again tomorrow or the day after. I'll actually switch off ads 3 days later. And same with adding ads. So if I'm going to add ads in, I'm going to add ads today. I'm not going to touch the ad account in terms of adding ads or removing ads for the next 2 or 3 days. However, what I do change is the budgets. So again, on this dashboard here, you can see I'm adjusting budgets throughout the day and across the week, right? So that's what I'm doing when scaling and also testing. So yeah, so when it comes to changes, you can change budgets on a daily basis, but when it comes to adding and removing or switching off ads, then I do it every 3 or 5 days. Really depends. And it also depends on how profitable you are and just your risk tolerance and also confidence level. Now, if you're still unprofitable and you're still stuck on Facebook ads and you don't know what you're doing, then book a call with me and I can help guide you through that process. I can help optimize your funnel, tell you where you're going wrong exactly. Is it your AOV? Is it your product? Is it too saturated? Is it your landing page? And I'll just show you how to optimize so that you don't really need to rely on others. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash that like button if you did. Subscribe to my channel and peace.